This is Vida. She's a long time supporter of the Abbey. And actually, the topic I'm going to talk about, she's a very good example of it. Yeah? Okay, the topic I'm going to talk about for this BBC, you're a very good example of it. Okay, so I'm reading some of Lama Yeshe's closing comments in his book, When the Chocolate Runs Out. And so one of them says, be reasonable in the way you grow and don't ever think that it's too late. So yesterday I talked about being reasonable in the way you grow. And there's Vida, who's an example of don't ever think that it's too late. So Vida and her husband, how many years ago was it? 7 years, so maybe 9 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago. So Vida and her husband went to our UU group and met the Dharma that way, and then started coming up here. And every time they came up, they had a list of questions about the salon. And, so interested in the Dharma. So you were in your 70s then? Yeah. So, both Bob and Vida were saying, oh, we met the Dharma so late in life. We were in our 70s. And here it says, but don't ever think that it's too late. So they are perfect examples of that because they met the Dharma and instantly it just clicked and they followed up, There was, I think I heard both of them say, oh, we're sorry that we met the Dharma so late. But there's such good examples of people who exemplify it doesn't matter how old you are when you meet the Dharma. From that moment on, you take the ball and run with it. Yeah? And so really beginning to learn, doing practice, purifying the mind, and so on. Another person who was at the retreat this last weekend, she told me she was 60, and she just met the Dharma a year or two ago. And she's feeling so strongly that, she has a lot of purification that she needs to do, that she wants to do. So she was asking me about purification practice and how to set up a daily practice and everything. And I just really appreciated this kind of enthusiasm, for practicing. And I know a number of the people who are ordained here met the Dharma, in your 40s? Any of you meet it in your 50s? Most people in their 40s, but it took you a while. But it took you a while to get in robes, but it didn't take you so long to start practicing. You met the Dharma, and then again, just taking the ball and running with it. Yeah. How old were you when you met the Dharma? 61, 62. Again, another good example, very active in her Dharma Center in Sacramento. Yeah. And so it really doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is how we use our time. Because there's people who meet the Dharma when they're quite young, and then they play around for the next 50 years. Yeah. And then finally, something hits and they think, oh, actually, I should, do some practice. We get a number of those people coming too. So anyway, whatever age we come to the Dharma with, and even if you came to it young and then you played around for a few decades and then you're coming back, it doesn't matter. The important thing is at this present moment, your heart is in the Dharma, you have the enthusiasm to practice, and so you go ahead and do it, instead of saying, oh, well, I wasted so much time. That way of thinking is and discouraging ourselves. That's a form of laziness, isn't it? The laziness of self-discouragement. So let's not go in that direction at all. Right? And if you meet the Dharma when you're young, then even more fortunate. Yeah. But meeting it when you're young is no guarantee that you're going to practice it continually. So no need to get arrogant about that, because if you meet the Dharma when you're young, but then you don't use your time to practice, then then the people who meet it when they're 60, or 70 or whatever, are really zooming ahead and leaving you behind. So